This is from January 2014. Okay, so here it is. It says in the figure below, not drawn to scale. Anytime you'll see not drawn to scale in a CXC, CSEC part paper question, it simply means that the diagram is not drawn with the exact sizes that you are seeing. Now, this one don't have a lens and stuff, so it means this degrees is not exactly 20 degrees. So if you take one of those geometrical, what you call it again? That's a protractor, I believe. If you take that and you try to measure the angle, it's not going to read as 20 because the diagram is not drawn using those exact figures. It's just like a sketch diagram. But if you see the question says that it is drawn to scale, you could use a measuring instrument from your geometry set and you would get the exact sizes without having to use any formula or rules. Yes. But when it's not drawn to scale, it means you have to use rules such as angles on a straight line that we just went through, or corresponding angles or alternate angles to find the angles and stuff. And as you all see, there's a given reason, right? I'll come back to that just now. But it says that the lines AQB, so that is AQB, that's this line here, and CRPD, that's this one, are parallel. So when they tell you all the lines are parallel, well, you need to remember what you know about parallel lines, right? No matter how far you extend a pair of parallel lines, they will never meet, they will never touch each other, they will never connect. And MQRN is a transversal. So what is a transversal exactly? It is a straight line that intersects or connects or passes through or meets with, in this case, a pair of parallel lines. So when a transversal connects with a pair of parallel lines, it starts to create vertically opposite um interior, alternate, and corresponding angles. It goes on to say that PQ, where's PQ? Oh, this line here. PQ is equal to PR. Interesting. So everything they say in here is like giving you all hints. Now I know I did not, since I started geometry yesterday, I did not go through like rectangles, squares, triangles, and stuff. But you see what they say in here? It's a triangle rule. Some of you may know or remember it from primary school or lower forms or something. But let me see. Does anybody remember or know, not from my classes, because I didn't see anything about it yet in my classes with you, but from probably previous knowledge, if you have, about triangles and stuff. Do you remember what's the name of the triangle that normally has two equal sides? I hope nobody is Googling this. If you don't know, you can't remember, fine. But if you do know, what is the name of the triangle that normally has two equal sides? Because that is what they are telling you here without telling you that. When they say that PQ is equal to PR. So the question does have a triangle here, right over here. I didn't see nobody come through as yet. It's called the isosceles triangle. So some of you are probably saying, yes, I know about that. I've heard about it before. Good attempt, but it's not a right angle triangle. But this one could be right angle, but they didn't really say the lines had anything perpendicular. So I wouldn't say it's a right angle. It may look so, but this line is not straight enough for it to be right angle. But good attempt, though. I do appreciate your response. It's the isosceles triangle. So an isosceles triangle normally has two equal sides and two equal angles. So when they said here that PQ is equal to PR, they are telling you indirectly, this is an isosceles triangle. And then it goes on to say angle QPR. Right, let's see where that angle is. Angle, we starting from Q, we tracing to P, we landing at R is 28. So that's the angle at P. The angle when given three letters is always the letter in the middle. I know I said that to some of you all yesterday, but I'll repeat it today as yet. So yes, the angle is always located by the letter in the middle. But if you all look closely, there is another angle at P over here. So that is why it's important when you want to identify a specific angle and there are multiple angles at that letter, you could trace from the first letter to the second to the third, and then the angle that's in the middle of the two is where the angle is. Okay, so with that being said, it says calculate given reasons for your answer, the value of x, y, z. So they want us to find x, x is over here. They want us to find y, and they want us to find z. Well, they said x first, so that means x will be the easiest one to find. I know it's looking real tricky, yeah? But that's how CSEC likes to bring their questions. So before I show you all anything, does anybody or did anyone figure out this angle x as yet? Or are you all trying to figure it out? Okay, I think you're trying to figure it out. So let me give you a little hint that they did tell us that um MQRN is a transversal. But what they did not tell you all is that PQ, this line over here, is also a transversal. So even though they did not draw it long like the other one for it to look like an obvious transversal, it is a transversal. Okay, so that was the first trick in the question already. So what I tell students to do, because the question is looking complicated, there's a way to make maths easy. There's a way to break down maths so it's not difficult to analyze and comprehend. Since the question has two transversals, you could draw the pair of parallel lines and each transversal separately. That is going to help you all to be able to analyze the question and do it. Because some of you, if you look at it like this, you'll be like, this thing is hurting my head. I don't know what to do. I am confused as ever. However, if you draw the parallel lines separately as a sketch and you put each of the um transversals in a separate pair of the parallel lines, you'll see how easier it's going to become. So I'm just labeling. So this is A, B. This one is M, Q. R is over here. There's N below. There is C over here. There is D. What else do we need from this? Z is above here. Y is below here. Okay, and then with the other one, we have A, we have B, we have C, D. We have Q over here and P. Also, we have X here. We have 28 over here. I think that's about it. Is it? Yeah. So I'm going to ask the question again. Let's see if you all can figure it out now. What is the size of angle X.
Me tratan a picture in the chat.
You sent a picture in the chat?
Yes, in your chat. Yes.
Is it the next device? Because I'm not seeing it on the main device. Um, I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Oh, okay, it's not coming through.
Right, just for one. I did check on the US. It's
Okay,
probably
no
the same issue.
problem. No problem. Okay, so I see you got it, Ophelia. Is there anybody else who is seeing the answer who was able to figure out the answer for X? Now, if you all find this looking confusing over here, focus on the separate lines that I drew. That will help clarify what's going on because it's one of the rules we did before, it's nothing new. It's nothing new at all. Okay, so I see two persons got it. I wonder what's going on with the rest. So if you look at this, right, you have to look to see which of the lines is the X attached to. It's attached to the the line that has PQ. That's this one. So then we need to focus on this one. And what do we see here? The X is forming a Z with the 28. Or in other words, the X is alternate to the Z. So since, what's it? X is alternate to the Z? No, X is alternate to the 28 degrees. So that means X and the 28 degrees are equal. Right? Now, again, I know it probably looking complicated on the original diagram. So that's why I said with CSEC, it's good to know how to break the question into pieces and look at it like that. It makes it easier to understand the question if you don't know. Me personally, I mean, because I have done these things over and over again, I don't need to do that. But for you all who it's probably looking technical for, but some of you, if you trace the Z from the original diagram, you would see the Z shape is there. And those two angles are alternate and equal. So alternate angles are formed within the Z. So if you could trace the Z, the angles are alternate. And for questions like this, you will get 1 mark. I didn't say that before. So I'll say it now. You will get 1 mark for, if you just write your angle alone, you get 1 mark. And then you get the second mark for your reason. Your reason is which rule did I use, in this case in geometry, to help me figure out the answer. So you get some 1 mark for that 28, and the next mark is for whether or not you say it's alternate. If you say the wrong thing, you get 1 out of 2 marks. If you say the correct thing, you get full 2 marks. So don't take not writing reasons for granted. You need to write your reasons for these questions, especially when they say given reason, okay? So the next one, another thing, I normally tell students, anytime you find an angle, put it on the diagram because it can help you find Y followed by Z. So every time you find an angle, you could use pencil. Like if you were doing this in the actual exam, you could jot in or write down any angles you find using pencil on the diagram, but your actual answer needs to be written in pen. Right? Let me see the answer. Okay, Ophelia, I seen you. They are confirmed just now. Let me see if that is exactly what you are seeing or what. So this angle here is 28 degrees, right? I could put it in over here as well. My angle is 28 degrees. Okay, we need to find y. Where's y? Y is over here. So between these two diagrams, this is where we need to look for us to figure out y. Because y is on the other, it's attached to the other transversal. So we can't use this diagram. Y is not attached to it. Okay, so what is the value of y? I saw one person send it, right? I'm not sure. Yes, no. So Philly, I'll have to open up those photos, but right now, based on how I have the screen, I may not open it right away because it will show to all, but I'll
Yes,
open it.
I understand. I understand.
Okay, I'll open it just now. Um, did anybody else attempt, or is there anybody else who's attempting why? So why is a little trickier? It is not straightforward. So you have to be looking at the original diagram while also looking at the separate sketch to help with why. So why is not straightforward at all. You're still doing it, okay. So some of you might be wondering what is going on with this question. And that's where the whole isosceles triangle comes in now. As you all can see, there's a straight line here and a straight line here. So that's indicating that these two sides are equal, just like how they said PQ is equal to PR. So I will do a separate sketch. Um, so we have P over here, we have R, we have Q, right? Um, we know that this angle here is 28. That was given in the diagram. Okay. So since this angle is 28, and they also told us that they said that PQ, that is P to Q, that's this side, is equal to PR, which is this other side. So those are the two equal sides. So since we know the two equal sides, we need to identify where the two equal angles are. So the two equal angles are normally opposite from the equal side. So if I draw a line from this equal side, one of the equal angles will be here. So this angle here is going to be equal to, if I draw another line or so from that side, the other equal angle will be here. So this angle is going to be equal to this angle. Those are the two equal angles. So since we do not know the size of any of the two equal angles, there's a couple things we need to do. So the first thing we need to do and know is that in any triangle, it doesn't matter whether the triangle have equal sides or non-equal sides, all three angles in a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. That's the first thing. After that, the next thing we need to do is take the given angle and take it away from 180 to find the value of the two remaining angles, or the sum of the two remaining angles. That will give us what? About probably 52 or something, 152 or something. 180 take away Yes. So we got 152. You all can use calculators for this because this is a paper two question and calculators are allowed in paper two. Um, and then because we know that the remaining angles in the triangle are equal, what do we do? Not divided by half or divided by 2. So we could take 152 and divide it by 2 because of the fact that the two remaining angles are the equal angles. So that is going to give us uh yes, that's correct. So it's giving us 76. Thank you very much. So that means each of the equal angles are 76 degrees. So this angle will be 76. This will be 76 also. Okay, so now we could put that in on the diagram because again, everything you find, you want to put it on the diagram, it will help finding other things sometimes. A lot of times it do, right? So here's 76 and here's 76. And if you want to put it on your sketch diagram also, the only trick here is, the only thing here is these two angles together with this angle form the interior angle. So if I want to write this angle over here, I'll have to add these two, but I'll come back to that just now. What angle are we trying to find? Y. So now it's easy to find Y. What is the size of angle Y, you all? So we just found the angle at R using the whole isosceles triangle rules and stuff. So this angle here is 76. What is the size of angle Y? Okay, I see you. Ophelia, open your thing in a while, right? Just now open up your stuff and see what you said.
Don't I get wrong?
You,
Don't I get wrong? Don't I get wrong?
okay, well, at least you tried, which is good. I do appreciate that you attempted it. Because it's always better to try than not to, it shows that you are, you know, making a step towards something. Even if you didn't get it, now you will have a better understanding as to why. But we didn't do anything necessarily with triangles. But yes, that's what sometimes that's how CXC like to bring their stuff. They add in another shape and they expect you to know the properties of the shape to work out the question. In addition to what we were doing, which is parallel lines and stuff. So yes, in order to find y, you all need to remember that these two angles here must add up to 180 degrees because they are on a straight line. So I'm taking the 180, take away 76, which will give me good attempt though. I do appreciate that you tried, but I hope you're understanding why the answer is going to be for from here 7, 10 take away 6 is 4, 7 take away 7 is 0, and we have 1. So this will be 104, 104, 180, 76. Because these two angles must give us 180. Okay, so that means y is 104. And the reason, y'all don't forget your reasons, please. Remember, these questions require reason. So the reason for this, we use a couple things. So we have to mention all the rules that we use. I first use isosceles triangle, which helped me to figure out the angle at R. Then I use angles on a straight line to figure out using the value of R to figure out Y. So there are two rules I use. isosceles triangle and isosceles triangle and what's the other one? I just said it, angles on a straight line. Okay, so I use two rules, so you want to always put all the rules that you use. If you use one, put one. If you use two, put the two. So for this, it will be isosceles triangle. Now you don't have to explain it. Some students just explain it, but they only give you one mark for a reason. So why are you going to waste time and write a whole paragraph saying that I did this and then I did this and saying like even a whole narrative or story? No. You just need to mention the rules and you will get the remaining or the second mark. So isosceles triangle, or some people might say angles in a isosceles triangle. Here you can say all that too if you want. And angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. Kind of run out of space here, boy. Straight line. Okay, we'll work with that. So we'll do Z and then I guess we call this George because time run out of me here. So where is Z? Z is above here. Z is over here, right? Okay. So for those of you who don't understand what's going on with Z or how to figure out Z, we can use vertically opposite angles. Because this angle here, this angle over here is vertically opposite to Z. So all we have to do is add these two angles that make up the angular Q below there, and then Z will be the same thing. So it'll be 76 and 28. 28. 8 and 6 is 14. 7 and 2 is 9 and 1 is 10. Which will give us 104. 104. Okay. So the answer for the angle at Z is also, as one of you said in the chat, it is also 104. And the reason is vertically opposite angles. Well, I added the two angles too, but the main reason here is vertically opposite. I don't know, just space boy. Vertically opposite. Vertically opposite angles. Okay, you all.